Okay, so 3 words to sum up the work of the DEG. I would say addressing underlying challenges. Development education is very much at its core about addressing underlying challenges of development. Our work over the last year has been divided into 2. Firstly, we got involved in conducting a piece of research called Finding Irish Frames, and more recently then preparation for the Gene peer review that will lead up to Irish Aid's new development education strategy. And lastly, why join the DEG? Well, I would see development education as being a core to any good development practice. So if you're not in already, please join.
We were asked for 3 words to describe our group. We are passionate. There's a great sense of camaraderie among the group members. And we're passionate about a cause that's somewhat unfashionable at the moment. We were also asked, what are we working on? And we're a productive group. In the last 2 weeks, we've had a learning event, which we co-hosted with the Humanitarian Working Group, looking at the lessons for the Ebola response from 30 years of HIV. We also meet regularly with Irish Aid to discuss HIV and wider global health issues. Every year we celebrate World AIDS Day as loudly and confidently as we can. And we've also recently produced this checklist, which is guidance on building HIV and resilience for development and humanitarian organisations. The final question is, why should you join our working group? We know that development is changing and the HIV epidemic is changing too. But we also know that AIDS is not over, and this is a policy document we produced some years ago about that very thing. Join our group and help us to identify the best ways to ensure that HIV and AIDS are addressed adequately by Dóchas members. Join us to work for the right to health for the most excluded and most marginalised women and men in the world. Thanks.
Three words to describe our group, I'd say dynamic, enthusiastic and creative. What we did this year is we decided to work on some technical contributions in the area of sustainable agricultural development, and we chose to start with climate smart agriculture, and we decided to work on a consultation paper which will be launched soon on the 15th of May. We decided to give the group this year a more scientific approach to very much link policy and science debates, and that's why we decided to work on technical contributions, and others during the year will probably touch on areas of resilience, for instance, sustainable intensification. We'll be discussing a few topics. You should join the Livelihoods Food and Nutrition Security Working Group because it's a very interesting and engaging network. It brings together people with policy and advocacy background as well as people with a technical and scientific background. You'll be exposed to a lot of experience and expertise and be able to share yours in a very dynamic platform.
If I was to describe the Humanitarian Working Group in just 3 words, I think I would have to choose practical, focused on improvement, and response-oriented. Okay, so that's 6 words. We're also a friendly group, and we're willing to help out as best our duties allow, and occasionally give a chocolate biscuit at the meetings. The Humanitarian Working Group has been active for many years, and it serves as a place where the members can share information on the issues that affect our work. We can coordinate our voices when talking to the Irish government, or Irish Aid, and we work closely with Irish Aid and others to improve the humanitarian response sector here in Ireland. In the past year, we have had shared events with the Disability Working Group in order to try to improve the conditions for those with disabilities in a humanitarian crisis. We have worked with the HIV Working Group on trying to pull lessons learned from the Ebola and the HIV responses for future outbreaks. We've also worked on civilian and military liaison together with the Irish Army in the Exercise Viking last year. And finally, we are actively taking part in the World Humanitarian Summit and the upcoming Irish Humanitarian Summit. As a member of the Humanitarian Working Group, you'll benefit from the pool of knowledge and experience of the members and their agencies. You would also have a point of contact with the various response agencies should an emergency strike where you are working. We also share regularly information that we get from other sources that may be of interest not only to humanitarian work, but also to ongoing disaster risk reduction and resilience work in regular long-term programming. And finally, you will be informed whenever opportunities might arise that we can share our voices to raise issues of concern to us all and have a much greater impact. Particularly now, as the nature of humanitarian response changes and must become much more integrated with our longer-term development work, I feel it is important that all those agencies not directly involved in humanitarian work are linked with those who are. And I feel the Humanitarian Aid Working Group here in Dóchas is a very good place for that in Ireland. I would encourage you all to join at the earliest opportunity. Thank you.
So 3 words I'd use to describe the Disability and Development Working Group would be dedication, effectiveness, and of course inclusion. It's been a really busy year for the working group. We've been together for almost over 10 years, and the highlight of last year, I have to say, was a visit by a disabled persons organisation from the Philippines. This is an organisation that was supported by the sector here in Ireland during the response to Typhoon Haiyan, and they really highlighted the importance of not only providing access to relief in times of emergency for people with disabilities, but also ensuring that people with disabilities can actually participate in times of emergency. So that was a real highlight of last year and a great visit by that group. Reasons maybe you would think about joining the Disability and Development Working Group. If you're passionate about an inclusive society for all, if you want to be part of a group that's lobbying and engaging at senior level to advocate for people with disabilities, then this is the group for you. Thank you.
Good afternoon everyone, my name is Gus McNamara and I'm Head of Finance in Trócaire and the Chair of the Dóchas Finance Working Group. The Dóchas Finance Working Group, as you know, was formed last year, and in our first year we looked at 2 main areas, SORP 2015 and the management of foreign currency. SORP 2015, as you know, is a statement of recommended practice for charities and how they present their financial statements. The previous guideline was SORP 2005, so SORP 2015 becomes a requirement from 1st of January 2015. So on your next set of financial statements, they will be based on SORP 2015. We held an event which had a presentation by Crowe with our auditors, and they highlighted the main areas of change for agencies. We also last year held an event on the management of foreign currency, which is particularly topical in the sector at the moment with the devaluation of the euro against the dollar, and this has proved particularly difficult for people to manage. But also the management of foreign currency. There are lots of options out there, and we wanted each agency to be aware of what these options were. Both of these events were very successful and very well attended, and I would encourage all agencies to ensure that they join the Finance Working Group, and the learnings that we can take from events like this and other events that we will host in the coming year will be of benefit to all of us. Thank you.